Good morning, good evening, good day, good afternoon, depending at which part of the world you are listening and watching from. It is Dutugo Mabaso here, the founder, the CEO, and the director of Savita Private Tutoring. Hopefully, everything is okay, guys. Everything is okay. You are writing your exams. I am aware of that. Some have finished their exams. I've been meeting different students from various universities all across South Africa, and everyone is just glad that they found Savita Private Tutoring. Yes, Savita is light, and with Savita, you will surely maximize your academic potential. So what do I have for you today? Today, I have human resource development. They call it HRD, as you see on your screens. This is Savita Private Tutoring. If you are willing or you are yearning to book your tutorial, your private tutorial, could be a virtual class or could be an on-site class, just email me on prosperbyfaith@yahoo.com. prosperbyfaith@yahoo.com. Or you can just email me on the Savita personal email at savitaprivatetutoring@gmail.com. As I said before that I have HLD today, we are looking at the labor market and training. There are things that you need to know about labor market and training. Number one, you need to know what exactly are we referring to if we are referring to the labor market. What is that? And also we're going to look at now the challenges that are faced by the South African labor market. Okay, let's the learning begin. Right, we have labor market and a training. And when we refer to the labor market, we are referring to the market where the labor is bought and sold. It's bought and sold. You as an employee, you are selling your labor, you are selling your services to the employer, and the employer is buying your services and paying you a salary or paying you a wage. So a labor market is that market where the labor is bought and sold. And also what you need to know, when we refer to a labor market, we refer to the human beings. The labor market is not the product or services, but the labor market are human beings. And then there are aspects now that we need to take into consideration if we speak of the labor market. Throughout the employment relationship, there are things that should be taken into consideration. One of the things is no discrimination. There is the fairness, there is equity, there is humanness. All these are intrinsic aspects of the labor market, and they should be relevant throughout the work environment or the working place. So we refer to the human beings, where the aspects such as fairness, equity, and humanness, which are intrinsic to the labor market, are relevant. And also we have the aspects now of the labor market. The labor market concerns itself with the aspects such as the demand and supply for labor. The South Africa is facing the high unemployment rate. That means that there is indeed the supply for labor, but the demand for labor is not that sufficient. So the demand and the supply and demand for labor, we call that the functioning of the market. And we also look at the second aspect of the labor market, which is the unemployment and inequality. Inequality that's going to be there, inequality will always be there. That's why it is crucial for you as an HR practitioner to know all the employment laws, to know all the Employment Act, so that you're going to minimize or you're going to prevent inequality. right? So there is the second aspect of a labor market, and there is unemployment and inequality. And then we speak of a labor absorption capacity. That is when now we look at the percentage of the new entrants to the labor market, right? As you are writing your final examinations, you are ready to take on the world of work. You are doing everything you can to be employable because you need to have a certain paper, a degree, or a diploma for companies to value you or to see you or to look at you as employable. Right. You're going to be, or you're going to add to that labor absorption capacity as we're going to look at the percentage now of new entrants to the labor markets who find the job in a formal sector. We are referring to you as you'll be embarking on seeking for a job next year. And also the other aspect of the labor market is discrimination and employment equity, wages and productivity, the influence of the trade unions and globalization, to name but a few. Those are the aspects of a labor market that you need to take into consideration. Just pay much attention to these aspects of a labor market. Now that you know now what is the labor market and the aspect of a labor market, what are the challenges now that are facing the South African labor market? We speak of income inequality. There has been a lot of debate about income inequality because some believe that the black people are getting paid less than any other races, and that there has been more and more debate on that. If we speak of income inequality, it's one of the main problems in the South African labor market. Some would just say, oh, what is the need of me to be educated and all that? But at the end of the day, I know for sure I am getting to get paid less than any other races, right? Income inequality. And then we speak of the unemployment. Unemployment is the main issue in South Africa, is the main issue. Last time I checked, the unemployment of the youth of South Africa was at 74%. Just imagine. And also the statistics of unemployed graduate is soaring up daily. So you ask yourself, how come? Because you are now educated, you are now trained to take over the world of work. But why do you finish your diploma, your degree, and then you find out that you go back, you sit at home, you apply for job, you apply for work, but no luck? So we speak of the unemployment as one of the main problems in the South African labor market. And also, the third problem in the South African labor market is the high labor cost. Abanye babengibuza ukuthi na what is the need ukuthi na you have to pay before you get a job, right? You have to pay before you get your education qualification. You have to pay for all this. At the end of the day, you find out that it is hard for you to get a job. So there is high labor cost. And the last but not least is poverty. Poverty is a reality throughout any continent, not only Africa, but to any or throughout any continent. Poverty is a reality. Poverty means that you cannot satisfy your daily needs. You have to be dependent on someone. Could be the government, could be the donation, could be, the social impact organizations that are giving you something to eat, because you cannot afford the daily needs that a human being needs to go on with their day. So we have four main problems in the South African labor market. Speak of income inequality, unemployment, high labor cost, and poverty. Now, there are also three different groups at which training is directed, So now we are moving from the labor market to the training side of this chapter, of this topic. Now, the training. Which are these three groups at which the training is directed? We have the core labor force. We're going to discuss it. What do we mean by that? What do we mean by the core labor force? We have the intermediate group, then we have the marginal group. Once again, we have the core labor force, we have the intermediate group, we have the marginal group. These are three different groups at which training is directed. Right. What exactly do we mean by the core labor force? The core labor force is that proportion of the labor force, those are employees, which is very well attached to the labor market. And they have that a low risk of becoming unemployed. You also did a multi-skilling whereby you are having various skills and you are having a low risk for you to be unemployed. So if we are referring to the labor force, we are referring to that proportion of the labor force, which is very well attached to the labor market. And they are having a low risk of becoming unemployed. Those are the perks, or that is the beauty of having multi-skills. And we also have the intermediate group, the mid one, right? The intermediate group now includes those people who can be occasionally become unemployed. Occasionally, they become unemployed, but they do not normally remain unemployed for long period. The core labor force is people that are well attached to the labor market and they have a low risk of becoming unemployed. But now the intermediate group are those people who can or who occasionally become unemployed, but they do not normally remain unemployed for long period. There could be causes for that. There could be causes for that. Could be that one of the causes could be the technological changes or the shifts in an industrial structure. Once again, the purposes or the causes for these people who occasionally become unemployed but they do not remain unemployed for the long period. The causes of that could be the changes in technology or the shift in industrial structure. The last group is the marginal group. The marginal group is that group who has just lost hope. They have become so detached to the labor market. They have been unemployed for the very long time, and now they have lost attachment to the labor market. We speak of those people who have been seeking for a job for a long period of time to a point whereby they do not care. They have just lost hope that they will ever find job. There is the marginal group. It includes the long-term unemployed people, and they have lost the attachment to the labor market. Right. As we continue with this topic of labor market and training, there are three main areas, right? Do not confuse these three main areas. Actually, there are four main areas. Do not confuse these four main areas with the causes or the problems, the main problems in the South African labor market, and also now the three groups at which the training is directed. Do not confuse the three, right? There are three main areas in which now the correct training policies can make a positive impact on the eradication of structural employment and on productivity enhancement. So now this goes back, what can be done to just eradicate the employment and also now boost the productivity or enhance the productivity of the organization. What can be done, right? So there are four main areas in which the correct training policies can make a positive impact on the eradication of the structural employment and on productivity enhancement. One of the things that can be done is vocational training for school leavers. Now you know that if you are not friends with school, you can just leave school by grade 9 and go to the FETs, right? Further education and training colleges, and go there and do a skill program. And also the second area now is training courses, not educational courses, but the training courses. The training courses, they deal with skills. And also what can be done is extending and upgrading the workers' skills and competence. The last one is training provided to the unemployed. So let us discuss now this vocational training for school leavers as one, or as the first area to which the training policies could make a positive impact on the eradication of the structural employment and on the productivity enhancement. Vocational training for school leavers. The first point that you need to familiarize yourself with, the vocational training should be viewed as an integral part of the total education and training provision system. Right now, you are doing your theory, right? You do not have any idea on the practicality side now of the course that you are doing. So you will need a probation period. You will need an in-serve. You will need the in-service training for you to get the sense or to be exposed to the practitioner or the practicality sides of the work, right? And basically, the simpler meaning of this, the training now, or the vocational training, should be part of the integral or should be the integral part of the total education and training provision system. Simply, it means that now the practical side of whatever theory that you are studying, the practical side of whatever course that you are studying should be an everyday basis, or should be on an everyday basis, whereby you get to learn, or you get to know your theory and also be able now to put your theory into action. That is practical. So if we speak of the vocational training for school leavers, it should be viewed as an integral part of the total education and training provision system. And also now, because we are preparing you for the world of work, the pre-employment training should provide also an alternative avenues of preparation for employment to those not proceeding to higher academic studies. As I said before, that you can just leave school at grade 9 and go to an FET and do a certain skill, study for a certain skill, because you are not seeing yourself pursuing the higher institution qualification or a course. So this pre-employment training should also provide you with other alternatives or with other avenues now of a preparation for employment for those, because you're not seeing yourself pursuing for a higher education, academic studies, right? And also now, without this vocational training for school leavers, the many school leavers will have to depend on picking up whatever skill they can as they work, right? So if there is no vocational training for the school leavers, because truth be told, guys, not all of us, we see ourselves as academics, or we see ourselves pursuing the degrees, pursuing the PhDs and all that. Some, they have their God's given talent and they are willing to use these talents to their advantage, but only to find that if it is not provided for the school leavers, there is no vocational training, the pre-employment training, the preparation for employment to those people that do not see themselves pursuing the higher institution qualification. If that is not the case, if there is no provision of that, all these school leavers will have to depend on picking up whatever skill as they work, right? So that is one of the areas that we can use to eradicate now the structural employment and also enhance the productivity of the country's economy, of the finances of the organization, etc. And then the second area is training courses, right? The training courses should be designed to meet the needs of the economy. Excuse me, right. Right now, we are approaching the fifth industrial revolution, but South Africa is still stuck at embracing the fourth industrial revolution, right? There are a lot of things that South Africa cannot do by itself. It depends on other countries. For example, there was a COVID-19. The South Africa government, the South African government had to call the doctors from Cuba. And also now, the Department of Water and Sanitation Minister Lindiwe Sisulu called the engineers from, if I'm not mistaken, from Germany to come here and fix the water issues of South Africa. Why? Because South Africa does not have the skills, that are needed to sustain the economy of the country. So whenever you are designing the training course, you should make sure that now that course is designed to meet the needs of the economy. And also now the course should also be broad-based and structured according to the national skills standards. We are having SETAs. And also, you're going to be doing the workplace skills plan, whereby now the SETAs, they need you to draft down the plan. How are you going to train your employees? How are you going to go about to introduce the training and development programs to how many employees, what races and all that. That is the workplace skills plan. But here now we say that the training course should also be broad-based and structured according to the national skills standards. That is simple as ABC. And also now, you as an employer, it will be expected from you to assist in further skills development on the job or through the post-employment training. There is a skill development levy that every employee in South Africa, there is a certain percentage that is being deducted from their wages and it goes to the skills development. So you as an employer, you will be expected that now and again, you're going to be introducing the training programs, the learning programs, etc. So it will be expected from you as an employer to assist in further skills development on the job or through the post-employment training. And also now the third area to which we can dedicate this training policy so that we can eradicate the structural employment is extending and upgrading workers' skills and competence, right? The learning should be a lifelong process, right? Extending and upgrading the worker skills and competence should be a lifelong process. I spoke of South Africa. So now, for a country to foster the creation of high skill and high wage jobs, the training policies should be directed at furthering this goal. What is the goal? Is extending and upgrading worker skills and competence, right? As well as achieving other fundamental social objectives. One of the social issues South Africa is facing is the unemployment. That's the issue, the main issue that the South African government is facing, or the population of South Africa is living under, is unemployment. So for a country to foster the creation of high skills and high wage jobs, the training policies should be directed at furthering this goal of extending and upgrading workers' skills and competence, as well as at achieving other fundamental social objectives. Right now, you have to be multi-skilled for you to be safe from your retrenchment, for you to be safe from the unemployment. You have to be multi-skilled. Right. Remember, I said that it would be expected from you as an employer to assist in furthering the skills development of employees. But then the training by the employer is, however, criticized on two grounds. Number one, they do not provide training on a scale adequate to meet the society's needs for skills. You understand that? And they tend to provide only narrow training specific to their short-term productivity objectives. That is true. Most of the time, the employers, they only care about their profit, the profit making. They need to make profit. So they give you that narrow skills, that's narrow training that is not adequate enough to meet the society's needs for the skills. They only do that just for the objective or for the goal of getting or accumulating the short-term productivity objectives, right? And the last one for today is the training provided to the unemployed. What you need to know now, this training that is provided to the unemployed should form an integral part of active labor market policies. We call that, or we abbreviate that to ALMPs. That the training provided to the unemployed should form an integral part of active labor market policies. And these active labor market policies, they portray a progressive shift of resources from passive income support for the unemployed to the active measures. One of the simpler explanation of this point is that you as a company, you may now stop, or you may now just go back from or step back or withdraw from offering a financial help to the people of this environment that you are operating under. But now you give them the skills that are going to last them forever, the skills that are going to last them lifetime, right? You are refraining from giving them or supporting them with income, but now you are supporting them with the skills. You are offering them the skills. One of the simpler version of this is offering maybe the what we call the short course. The short course certificates. You are also offering the bursaries. You are also offering the learnerships or the scholarships to the people. You are investing this money for people to go there and study. Then they come back and they work for your company, or they work for your organization. So these active labor market policies, they portray that progressive shift of resources from passive income support for the unemployed to a passive or an active measures. So now you're gonna withdraw from giving them food parcels, but you're gonna now long to know what skills do they want, and then how can I help for them to accumulate or to acquire the skills that they need. And if you are planning this carefully, or you are planning these active policies carefully, it is possible to improve the access to jobs, develop the job-related skills, and promote efficient labor market. It is time now the private sector and the public sector, they come together and they come up with a strategy, they come up with a technique they can use to offer this skills program to the unemployed, so that after that, it's going to be possible to improve the access to jobs, and also it's going to be possible to develop the job-related skills and promote efficient labor markets. And the last point under training provided to the unemployed is a key policy now, a key policy here, or a key policy in making an active measures more effective is to ensure a linkage now between the job placement, unemployment benefits, and training, right? So a key policy here, a key policy initiative in making active measures, right, more effective is to ensure there is a link between the job placement. Give people the skills that will help them or will enhance their opportunities to score the job, and also the training and unemployment benefits, right? So those are 4 areas to which the training policies could be directed so that we can eradicate the structural employment and also on productivity enhancement. Right. Now you know all these areas, you know all these challenges that are faced by the South African labor force. You now know what these 3 groups to which a training could be directed. Now, although now the training for the unemployed is regarded as the great importance, the broad training programs aimed at the large group have not proved to be cost effective, right? Every company has that stance whereby they say, right, we need to contribute positively to the community that we are serving. We need to come up with the programs that we can ensure that there is indeed a positive contribution we have, right? For example, some of the companies will go an extra mile to just, offer the food parcels to the people that are lacking, the people, to solve the poverty and all that. But now, the training for the unemployed is of great importance. But now, the broad training programs aimed at the large groups have not proved to be cost effective. Right. You cannot serve all the people in South Africa, right? That is so impossible. There will be those people that you can say, right, I can have maybe a little that I can offer or I can donate to this group. But now there are no broader training programs aimed at the large group. And even they are there, but they have not yet proved to be cost effective. So now, how do we ensure that the training pays the dividends? To ensure that the training pays dividends, the following policy issues should be taken into consideration. Number one, we need to the target and diversity training programs for the unemployed based on thorough assessment of labor market needs. We need to target now and also have that diversity training programs for the unemployed. Some of people are not that very much informed at different languages. So now the training programs should be conducted in their home language, should be on their home language for them to understand that training program. You need a target and a diversity training programs for the unemployed based on the thorough assessment of the labor market's needs. So you're going to sit down, you analyze what is it that we need or what is it that the labor market needs. And then you're going to have the target and the diversity to just incorporate all the unemployed from different races and languages. And also the second one is we have to purchase now. We have to purchase the training for unemployed on a competitive basis in the private and public training market. I've said this before that it is time for the private and the public market to come together and they come up with something tangible on how they can solve the unemployment and also offer the training, the vocational trainings for the school leavers and also for the unemployed. So we need the training for the unemployed on a competitive basis in the private and the public's training market. The last one also is to involve all the key players at the local level. We speak of the employers, we speak of the trade unions and educational institutions, provincial and local governments, in a combined effort to develop now the training programs in accordance with the local needs. These are policies that we can take into consideration to ensure that the training pays dividends. You don't want to train people and they end up not getting employed. They take the certificates and they go home, no job opportunities, no nothing. You need to analyze what is it that the labor markets needs and also offer now those skills programs according or in accordance to those needs of the labor market. And also you need to involve all the key players at a local level, employers, the trade unions, educational institutions, provincial and local governments in a combined effort to develop the training programs in accordance to the local needs. So now going back, just to summarize what we have done today or what we did today, we have the three areas, there are actually four, sorry about that, there are actually four main areas at which the correct training policies can make a positive impact on the eradication of structural employment and on productivity enhancement. We have 4 vocational training for school leavers. We have training courses. We have extending and upgrading workers' skills and competency, and also the training provided to the unemployed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's class. Savita Private Tutoring simplifies. Savita means light, and with Savita, you will surely maximize your academic potential. For more of these classes, you can just book your online or your on-site tutorial class by emailing me at prosperbyfaith@yahoo.com, or just email the Savita Private Tutoring personal email. That is savitaprivatetutoring@gmail.com. Let the learning begin. See you next time, and good luck on your exams. Bye.